Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Marquita here with late nights, early mornings. So today I am here to do just a little comparison between two meal delivery services that I use on a regular basis, which is Home Chef and Hellofresh. Now if you watch my most recent videos, I did an unboxing of one from each one of those companies, and I've actually done quite a few unboxings, a couple of cook with me's with HelloFresh in the past, over the past year. So what this video is today is just me kind of comparing based on my experience with the two companies. So I'm first going to start off by giving you just the basic rundown of what about each service, just the general like cost and how it works and all of that. And then I'm going to share a little bit about my experience with each and kind of give you my thoughts on each service and maybe which one might be better depending on a certain situation that you might be looking for a meal delivery service for. So let's get into it. I'm going to start with HelloFresh. I did start using both companies about the same time. So it was during the pandemic when it first started, which was around March 2020. So at that point I was teaching, and so school shut down and we were working from home for the rest of that year. And of course that turned into basically a whole nother year. So we worked from home from March 2020 to March 2021. So I pretty much during that span of time, once I knew I would be home, I started using those meal kits as a way to help with cooking, because of course, you know, at that point the pandemic had just started and we wanted to minimize going out and about if you didn't have to go. Of course, grocery stores were open, but you just didn't want to have to be out if you didn't have to be. And if you're like me, I'm kind of a homebody anyway, so I like to minimize my outings. I use Amazon Fresh. I use whatever delivery services and all that anyway. So let me start with HelloFresh. HelloFresh, the meals start around $7.49 per serving. So let me make sure that I clarify that. Per serving does not mean, it means per meal, but that's not quite how it works out when you're thinking about the box. So for example, if you get a 2-person box, meaning enough food for two to eat for two, then that would be $7.49 times 2. So it's $7.49 per serving. Because one meal, you know, you could get 2 servings of one meal, which would serve 2 people, and that would be $7.49 each. So you're looking at, if you're doing a box of 2 for 2 people, you're looking at about $13 a meal per se. Which breaks down to $15 per meal. Ooh, my math is not my strong point there. But $15 per meal on average. Now, they do offer, and I'll get more into that in just a moment, they do offer some other options, which you will add a little more money onto. So I'll talk about how that works in just a second. But just in general, and this is information that's also found on their website, but they start at $7.49 per serving. The average, I would say, is probably $8.99 per serving when you're talking about like dinner or the regular meals. And I'll talk about what those other options that may be as low as $7.49 are. Shipping is $8.99. That's just a flat rate. Doesn't matter how many meals you get or, you know, whatnot you get, is $8.99. That's the shipping. And I will note that shipping just recently increased, I want to say in the past couple of months. I remember getting an email. It used to be $7.99 for the shipping, and now it's $8.99. So just keep that in mind. Things like that do change, but they do notify you in advance, and they do explain why. And of course, it's like everything else, just the cost and supply and demand. So $8.99 for shipping plus your however much your meals cost. So for me, I do the 2-person because that's the minimum amount of meals you can get. It's 2 people, even though it's just me. The box for 2 people with 3 meals. So that means that there's 2 servings of every meal in there. So it's a total of 6 servings per person, which is essentially 12 servings for me because it's just me. So that works out pretty well in my case because I get 2 meals per 1 meal that I order. And so that comes out with tax, shipping, and everything. That cost me $62.93. That's a non-discounted, because sometimes they'll send you discount codes every so often or whatnot. but the flat rate there is $62.93, and that's pretty much what my box would be on my plan, which is the 3 meals for 2 people. You can get more people, so like say if you're a family of 4, you can definitely increase to the box for 4 people. And same thing, it doesn't necessarily change the price per meal, it's just the number, so your price would be a little bit higher because you're serving more people. And then the other thing that I want to mention is that they do offer what they call kind of like they're like the more elite meals. And when I say elite, it's not like super fancy, it's just like steak or steak and shrimp, whereas usually you get one entree or like one meat in your meal, in your standard meal. If you do like the upper end meals, you might get like steak and shrimp or chicken and shrimp or something like that. So that's why it costs a little more. And it tells you when you're looking at your menu options, it will say plus $6.99 per serving. So that means that the standard, say if the standard price is $8.99 per serving, you would add another $6.99 to that per serving for that particular meal. But it tells you that some of them are a little cheaper, some of them are as low as like I've seen like $4 or $5 more per serving. But again, it just depends on what the combination is, but it's usually like a surf and turf or something else that you would get when you go out to a restaurant. And I mean, if you think about it, steak and shrimp, you pay $15 to $20 for a steak and shrimp, you know, order at most steakhouses, like Outback or wherever. So it's not out of range of what a regular meal would cost you, of whatever it is that you're getting. It's just to know that you're paying for that. They have over 27 recipes per week to choose from. So when you log in, once you set up an account, you log in, you can look at their menu for the week. It does change week by week. Eventually, the recipes do cycle back through, so you will definitely see something. So have no fear if you find something that you love and you're like, ooh, I wouldn't mind having that again. It will come up. I have mentioned in my other videos, like certain go-to meals that almost every time that I see them, if I'm ordering a box, I definitely make sure that I get them, or sometimes I order a box just because I see that particular meal. So definitely don't have to worry about, you know, having a one-time experience with it. The meals do cycle back through, but it's not like every other week or every month or something that they'll have the same thing. It'll be a little while, but you will see it again. But just know that they do have a variety of recipes to choose from every week, so they have something different every week. One of the things that is great about them is they do offer, you can set up your preferences. So when you go to sign up for HelloFresh, the first thing you do is pick your plan. So the plan would be like, okay, do you want 3 meals per week for 2 people? Do you want 5 meals per week for 4 people? Like, what do you want? So you kind of tell them like how many people you want your box to serve, and then how many meals per week. I do the 3 meals because I feel like it's a happy medium. So it's kind of like half of my week, and the fact that I get, you know, 12 servings, that's 12 meals essentially for me. That's a good balance, and it gives me a chance to be able to cook and eat things that are definitely a lot more healthier than like eating out. And then also I get that chance to balance it, so I can get my, you know, weekends are my treats. When I kind of, if I'm going to eat out, I tend to do it on the weekends, and I count that as like my treat. And then during the week, I really try to stick to cooking so I can make sure that I'm eating as healthy as possible when it comes to that. So HelloFresh kind of gives you that option. Another thing is important to know is that it is not a binding commitment. You do not have to get a box every week. You can skip as much as you want. I have gone months where I skipped just because I either had something going on, or if you're out of town, or if you just don't want to box that week, or maybe it's not in the budget that week, or you are trying out a new service or whatever. Like, you don't have to really, they will ask you for a reason. When you press skip on your thing, it'll say like, you know, give us a reason. And I think that's more for feedback for them to kind of figure out like, what can we do better? But it's not mandatory. You can actually just X out that question. You don't have to answer it if you don't want to, but you can just press skip. There's no fee. You won't get charged. You're only charged for what you order. So just make sure that you skip. There's no binding commitment. So you can sign up, just say, hey, I just want to try it. And then you're like, you know, I probably would do it again, but I don't want it for a little while. Just skip. I would recommend skipping before you cancel, because a lot of times when you skip, then if you do want to go back, your account and everything's set up, and all you have to do is just pick your meals and you're good to go. And sometimes they will give you offers if it's been a long time since you ordered, of course, to try and get you to come back or whatever, or unpause is what they call it. So it's not a bad thing to skip or whatnot if you want to. And that's something that also goes for Home Chef. You are free to skip and order whenever you want. You select your day of the week. It stays put until you change it. So for example, my boxes for HelloFresh come on Thursdays, but if I wanted my box on Wednesday that week, I can put that in. Just make sure that you have selected your meals prior to the cutoff date, because there is a window in which they give you a certain amount of time before your actual delivery date to cut off. So for my Thursday delivery date, my cutoff is the Saturday before. So as long as I have selected my meals by that Saturday, then I'm good to go. And I can still use Saturday if I wanted on Wednesday. If I wanted it sooner, I probably have to have my meals in before then. But you can change your date around anytime that you want. And it also gives you the option to order, not order, but to set up your meals in advance. So you can see the menu for like a month and a half, and you can see each week the selection. So you can go ahead and like plan out. If you say, okay, I know this week I want something, I didn't see anything that I like in the next week, skip that week. Plan your meals for the weeks that you want and skip the rest of them. You can do that, and you can see what's coming for like a month and a half in advance. So that's good for budgeting. Another thing to note with HelloFresh, I don't want to mix them up too much, but they do share a lot of things in common in terms of the basics of how they work. They also both offer add-ons, and what I mean by add-ons is like, it used to be, and this is something new, it used to be that you're just ordering essentially dinner. But now, and HelloFresh kind of had this a little bit before, but they have like sides. So like, for example, I ordered a pasta dish. If I wanted garlic bread, I could order that too. So you can really get the whole meal. They have breakfast options. They have dessert options, sides, things that would just be complementary to maybe one of the other meals that kind of come with one main entree, but not a lot of excess things. So that's something else to keep in mind. With HelloFresh, you get the add-on options, and again, you can skip. There's no commitment. You can skip whenever you want to. And that's just my recap for them. So again, 3 meals for 2 people. That will run you about $62.93 with tax and shipping. That's how much mine is. So yours might be slightly different depending on your taxes and where you're located. But so you're looking at about $63 for, that as an example. Of course, it'd be a little higher if you're doing the 4-person box. And also, if you have an odd number, like say you need a household, a box for a house of 3, and there's the 2 and the 4 option, you can select the 2 option and add a serving. It does not cost you any more other than the per serving price. So if you have your standard amount that you've already paid for, and then you just add that, just add a meal or add an extra serving, and it'll be like $7.99 per an extra $7.99 or extra $8.99 or whatever the cost of that particular meal is. And it tells you what each meal costs if you do an addition, or maybe you want to have, your plan is usually 3 meals, but you want to add an extra meal that day or that week. You can just add a meal, and that just basically, it'll tell you the cost per serving. So they'll just add like another $7.99 per serving or whatever. So you have a lot of flexibility with HelloFresh to add things and cater it and fix it to your needs. And the last thing I want to say about HelloFresh is that they do give you options to choose from if you're someone who's looking at different dietary options, such as if you don't eat meat, you can choose like, what type of box or what types of menu options you'd be looking for. So you can select between meats and veggies, veggie, family friendly, which would be something that would cater to kids. I believe they actually have a kids menu now. So, things like chicken tenders, I've seen that on there or whatnot. So family friendly, calorie smart, quick and easy, and pescatarian. So all of those are dietary needs or preferences that they cater to using HelloFresh. So if you don't have to worry about, hey, I'm a vegetarian, like, can I use HelloFresh? Yes. They do have things, and they do label the meal. So when you're looking at your recipes for the week, you'll see it'll say vegetarian or whatever, they make it known. So you already know like what fits your needs or your preference. And once you make those preferences, they kind of show you what's available in that category. And you can pick more than one thing. Now, let me move over to Home Chef. So again, similar to HelloFresh, it is a meal delivery service. You sign up, you choose how many people, and the prices are per serving. You can skip at any time. There's no commitment to, order a box every week or whatnot. You can see your menu in advance. And they do offer add-ons such as, your breakfast, lunch, dessert, and sides. So all of those are things that, just like HelloFresh, Home Chef provide. Now, where they differ a little bit is in the price. And the funny thing is, HelloFresh started out being a little cheaper than Home Chef when I first ordered them, because I honestly ordered both of them in the same week the very first time, just to do like a comparison like last year. And so Home Chef was a little more expensive. However, I understood, because Home Chef provides a little bit of a different type of menu option, and I'll talk about that in just a second. But just to get into the basics, they start as low as $6.99 per serving. So remember, HelloFresh started as low as $7.49 per serving. So about a 50-cent difference. Not a huge deal, but just keep that in mind. I will say the average meal, though, is about $9 and some change with Home Chef. When you're looking at it, just like for HelloFresh, my average meal for like the dinner selections is about $8.99. So that $7.49 is probably likely a salad or one of those other meals that they have, but most of the time my meals are the $8.99. That's kind of the midpoint. And with Home Chef, I would say the average meal is like $9 and some change. So actually Home Chef's a little more, again, roughly $1 difference, if that, in the serving cost for the dinner meal. So things may vary on the other options that they offer. And they do offer a variety of meals as well, and dietary preferences that you can choose from. So some of their options are oven ready, which I actually did my Home Chef video that I did showcased an oven ready meal that I used from them, so you can check that out. I'll link that at the end of this video so you can see a dish from Home Chef, and that was one of the oven ready dishes. They have grill ready, they have fast and fresh, they have 15-minute meals. So if you're somebody who's like, look, I don't even really want to cook, but I'm trying to do something good, trying to be healthy, they have the quick meals. On average, for both companies, the meals usually take between 30 to 45 minutes to from start to finish. And that's prepping, that's cooking, that's till it's on your plate and you're going to sit down and eat. So just keeping that in mind, a lot of the meals take roughly 30 minutes. Oven ready, super simple. Again, watch my video. You can see how easy that was and how quick it was. Also, one thing Home Chef offers is carb conscious and calorie conscious. Now, HelloFresh had calorie conscious, but Home Chef also has carb conscious. And I know a lot of people now are looking at keto and they're looking at low carb diets. So that is something that Home Chef may provide. Not to say that HelloFresh doesn't offer carb conscious things. They don't categorize it as that, but they do label their meals, like if they are, it'll tell you if it's calorie conscious or if it's low carb or whatever. And same thing with Home Chef, but that's just a preference when you're selecting like what types of items you want to see. Home Chef gives you that option up front. So again, thinking about dietary needs and wants and differences, those are things. And you can also select if there's certain types of foods that you're avoiding. I know a lot of people don't eat pork now. You can say like avoid pork. So meals that contain pork, like you wouldn't even have that as an option, or you may have a meal which you can substitute. So for example, in one of my Home Chef boxes, I had a meatball dish, and I'll show you that recipe card in just a second. But one of the options that I had, the meatballs were beef, but I could also sub it out for the Impossible Burger or the Impossible ground beef instead of using like regular meat. So if you're somebody who, eats like that type of thing or prefers that type of thing, you could do that and still have the same meal, just subbing out the things that you don't eat or don't want. So very easy, very accommodating on both ends. So the only other thing that is different, I would say that my last box that I ordered, or last couple boxes, it was $59.70. So just to give you an idea, so the Home Chef, the HelloFresh box was $62.93 after everything, tax, shipping, shipping, and the meal cost. It was $62.93. And then the Home Chef total was $59.70. And again, they can vary depending on what meal you select. So just keep that in mind. So, but for the most part, if you get a plan, most of your meals will kind of fall at the same price. So it probably won't be much of a difference. So if you're on a budget and you're like, okay, I'm going to budget $65 for Home Chef or HelloFresh, and that's normally what it runs you, you should be fine. I've never spent any more than that on a regular plan, unless I was doing add-ons or something. But just in terms of sticking to my basic 3 meals to people, I've never spent more than like $65. I just want to show you the cards. So another thing, they both come with these recipe cards. And as you can see, they're pretty similar. The main difference is Home Chef has holes in the top of theirs for, you know, keeping them in a binder or whatever, and HelloFresh does not. But for the most part, they are the same thing. They have the pictures on the front with the information in terms of the name of your dish, and then the ingredients, and then the calories, prep time, cook time, all of that. So, and then on the backs of both, they also tell you how to prepare the dish. So just like here and just like here. So this is the Home Chef card, and this was actually the meatball dish I was talking about, where you get the option, and I don't know if you can see it there, where you can substitute. And then it says here, and it's kind of small, but there it says customize it options, and it gives you the things that you could change out for the beef. And then with the steakhouse pork chops, you also have your meat, and most of the I will say most of the meals, the standard meals for the most part, come with a meat and 2 sides, or you know, you have like your entree and 2 sides, unless it's something like, say if it's a burger, you typically have like a burger and then some kind of potato or a side if you order the burger. So it'd be like 1 side big burger. It's a fancy burger, and so usually you'll have just 1 side for something like that. But on a standard meal, you'll kind of get a nice balance here of something green or some vegetable. Your potatoes, that would be your starch, and then you have your meat here, which is the pork chop. Same with Home Chef, they have a good balance here. As you can see, you have your meat, which is your meatballs, you had green peas, and then you had mashed potatoes. So you get a little bit of everything there. The last thing I want to talk about is just the difference in the menu options. With Home Chef, I've found that they offer a lot of things such as like what I call more mature dishes, in terms of you see more steak options, fish options, and fish as in like salmon options on their regular menu, meaning it doesn't cost you any more. Whereas with HelloFresh, you usually pay, and they call that kind of like their premium meals when it has like the steak, or if you have the combos or whatnot. Whereas with Home Chef, steak is kind of a common occurrence there. And I'm not even a big steak eater. I don't not like steak, but I just don't eat steak that often. But it appears pretty frequently on the Home Chef menu. So if you are someone who likes that, they do have it quite often, and it's a good cut. I wouldn't say it's like, you know, Ruth Chris Steakhouse cut, but it is a decent cut of meat. If you are more of a family, looking for more of a family-friendly box, I would say HelloFresh is probably your best bet, because to me, that is your more like everyday food, like something that you could pretty much go to any regular restaurant and get something. They do have your basics, like your meats, you have your chicken, you have they have tacos, they have quesadillas, they do Asian bowls with like shrimp and broccoli and that kind of thing. You have burgers, you know, so you see that more frequently in the HelloFresh. And so I would say that's probably a more wide range of palettes, and you know, you can find something for everybody, like kids and whatnot. But other than that, they are both very good services. Anytime I've not had a lot of issues with the food or with the services. I've never had an issue with the food being bad. I've had a couple issues where the meat, like it leaked a little bit, like the juice, the blood or whatever, it leaked because of how it was packaged. And I just contacted customer service, that was with Home Chef, and they gave me a credit for that. I did have a time where one of my meals was missing, or not the whole meal, but I didn't get like everything I was supposed to get, and they gave me a credit for that meal. So, you know, they do value their customers, and they do fix their mistakes. So just, you know, take a picture and show what happened, or, you know, take a picture and show that you're missing something or whatever. That's all you have to do. You send it in, you're good to go. So I would say they have good customer service, both. I've actually talked to Hellofresh reps on the phone. Home Chef tends to communicate more by email, but they are pretty quick to respond. Hellofresh, I've done email as well as phone, and both are very good and easy to get things resolved. So again, thank you for watching. I hope this helped you out. If you were considering either one of those meal services, or you just wondered, like, what is it about? What's all the hype? Because you always see them on TV, or you always see an ad for them somewhere. Also, I have a discount code for Home Chef. So if you are interested in trying a Home Chef box, you can get $35 off. I will put that code in the description. It is Marquita D02. And again, it's down in the description box. I am not sponsored by HelloFresh or Home Chef. Just want to keep putting that out there. I am just a regular consumer that has been using these meal delivery services for a little over a year now. And I just want to share my experience with the rest of you. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.